Hey everyone, today's video is going to be a little bit quicker. I want to show you some products that I've been testing from Ugreen. There's this new charger called the Nexode RG. It comes in 30 watt and 65 watt, as well as a 25,000 milliamp hour battery bank that's capable of 145 watts of power delivery. And honestly, I'm a huge fan of the battery bank. I'll do a little bit of testing later and you'll see why. But before we do that, let's take a quick look at these new Nexode RG chargers. So for these new chargers, it's just like I said before, there's two configurations. There's a 30 watt, which is the smaller one, and a larger 65 watt. For the smaller one, you have one USB-C port at the top. This is good for charging a phone or a tablet. And if you take off these little boots here, you can see that it exposes the prongs that plug into the wall. So it's kind of a cute design. My wife stole them right away as soon as I finished the video. But from a practical standpoint, you're probably going to lose the boots because there's nowhere to click them on aside from on the prongs. And taking a look at the larger one, you can see it's the same design, but you have two USB-C ports at the top as well as a USB-A, and the same thing where you can take off the boots and expose the prongs. So let's go ahead and test out the little one. When you plug it in, you'll see these two eyes and a mouth. The mouth will disappear and the eyes will change when it's fully charged. So it's kind of a cutesy little feature that they added so you can tell when your device is charged just by looking at the block. One thing to note as I plug in this bigger one is they do take up a bit of real estate. On this particular cord, they do fit side by side, but I know on some power strips they may not fit. So keep that in mind if you're deciding to pick one of these up and you're going to be plugging it into a power strip. And now we can do our usual turbo mode test with the ROG Ally, so let's plug it in. As you can see with the ROG Ally plugged in, I am getting the 30 watt turbo mode, but let's try it out if I plug in my phone as well. So now I've got my phone charging and I've got it plugged into the same block, so let's check our turbo mode, and unfortunately we only get 25 watts. So you cannot charge your phone and your device and still get the 30 watt turbo mode, but you will get the 25 watts, so just keep that in mind. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the power bank. So we'll do some testing with the ROG Ally as well as my onexplayer. So I'm going to plug into the 100 watt USB-C slot here, and we're going to test out the turbo mode just to make sure that it's working. And as you can see, turbo mode is working when it's plugged in. So let's try the same experiment we did before with the charger. I'm going to plug in my phone. And as you can see, we still have turbo mode at 30 watts, so you can charge both devices at the same time. But why stop there? Let's go ahead and push this thing. So I'm going to bring out my onexplayer for this next test. I've got Starfield running at 30 watts and my battery is fairly low, so let's see how much power we can actually put out to the device. So now that I've got it plugged in, you can see that I'm in the 80s for the power delivery here. Sometimes it goes into the 90s, so we're getting pretty solid power delivery to the device. So right now we're pretty close to maxing out that 100 watt port, and it's probably the maximum that the onexplayer is able to accept. But this thing is rated for 145 watts, so let's see if we can actually add something else to the mix. So I'm going to plug in my phone and let's see if they charge both together. So you can see our phone is charging and our device is still getting about 90 watts. So it's actually acting as advertised. I found that a lot of power banks don't actually do what they say they do. So this was nice to see that it's actually able to do what it says it can do. So what do I think of these devices? I definitely recommend the power bank. I really do like it, and the price seems to be pretty reasonable. I can honestly say that if I was planning a trip, I would purchase this power bank myself. So if you have a trip planned or have a need for a power bank, I definitely do recommend this one. For the Nexode chargers, they are kind of neat. My wife really liked them and she took them as soon as I finished. But for myself personally, I would probably prefer the 100 watt block just because I do tend to charge a few devices that are a little bit more demanding and like to do that at the same time. So I'll drop the links down in the video description. These products were provided to me from Ugreen. There was no sponsorship or anything. I did finally figure out my Amazon affiliate account, so I may make some affiliate links for these. But of course, I'm going to label that in the video description if that's the case. I hope you enjoyed this video and thank you for watching.